So we're metal detecting now. You've actually got your metal detector with you, James.
That's right, yes. We're here today in the field just over the hedge from where we thought the Roman fortlet was. Freshly ploughed this morning, that's how quick it's been done. And what we're doing is metal detecting the area, and instead of digging the finds up, we're marking them in a colour scheme. If they're made of iron, they get a black flag. And if they're made of precious metals or copper or bronze, they get a silver flag. And if they're very good signals, they get a silver flag with a little cross on. Now, the idea of this is we'll come in later and do the geophys, which is x-raying the field, overlay the results from what we've got here. Now, you may wonder how they're going to overlay sticks in the ground with the plan of what's under the ground. Each one of these pegs has been there was a machine, it's just gone doing GPS satellite navigation. And there's a guy with a pole and he goes up to each find, clicks a button, it tells him the coordinates on the field. They use the same system for going over the field, scanning it, and then they can overlay the two, so they end up with features underground and a plot of where the different metals are. And if they get in a high enough concentration, it gives them a good target of where they put the next trenches.
So will they produce a drawing from all this? Will they plot all this out on paper?
It'll be plotted out via PC. They have a computer in the vans and they can actually just run it through. All information gathered here is beamed straight back to the incident room, where they can then correlate it into a plan.
There's quite a few people here. Where have they all come from? Are all these time team regulars or are they locals? How does all that work?
We've got time team members, Bridget over there, who's got her back to us. She's actually making flags for us at the moment to put in the ground. Then we've got local metal detectorists that we've called in as well to help out today, especially. And then we've got South Trafford Archaeological Group, who are a local based group who've provided volunteers as well.
So where do we go from this? So we're going to plot all these points, we're going to print it out in a drawing, we're going to look at what it shows us, and then in with the digger?
That's right, straight in with the digger. As I say, we're on day 3, time's getting short, we're coming up to lunchtime now, although today we'll probably dig until dark because we need the time. But we will locate the most likely area where a trench may produce some archaeology, so as soon as the results are through, we're in with the diggers, and that's how quick it works.
So I gave him a look sort of sideways and I leaned on me shovel and sighed. Whoa, I lit me a fag and having took a drag, I replied.
Tony Robinson, you've been with Time Team, I believe, ever since it started, is that right?
That's right.
How long's that?
That's 14 years. It's extraordinary, isn't it? You'd never think it was that long.
You're looking well on it.
Yeah, well, I was 6 when I started.
You started in Blackadder, and this is one heck of a jump from that to archaeology.
I didn't start in Blackadder. I was in my late 30s by the time that I did Blackadder. Already by that time I'd been in show business for about a quarter of a century. So I had a whole variety of experiences, and I had quite an active life outside of the business, including, I've always been very engaged with history and to a lesser extent with archaeology. Archaeology for me has always been a rather vivid way to bring history to life, and when I was approached to front this pilot program for a new series, it seemed to me a really nice thing to do. I didn't do it for my career. I never thought it would pay the bills for 14 years. I did it for the crack, and because I knew some of the people who were involved, and you just get sucked into it.
So you really enjoy what you do here, eh?
Oh yes, it's completely addictive. Yeah.
You've got quite a varied line of jobs on the go at the minute. Voicing the Terry Pratchett books, is that your sort of thing that you'd read?
Yeah, it was my daughter who originally introduced me to Terry Pratchett, and I just found his books so beautifully written and so ironic that I really enjoyed them. And when he actually approached me out of the blue, he was a reporter for the Bristol Evening Post even after he first started writing, and I was living down in Bristol, and I was working for the local radio station making a spoof history series which amused Terry, and so he through my agent, he approached me and said, would I read the audio tape of his first book, Colour of Magic, and I did, and I've now completed something like my 42nd Terry Pratchett book onto audio tape, it's one of the things I'm proudest of, I think.
You've written books as well. You've co-written Archaeology is Rubbish, A Beginner's Guide. How does that fit in with what you're doing now?
I wasn't sure that I'd actually learned anything at all about archaeology until Macmillan's asked me to write the book, which I did with Mick Aston. And I suddenly realised that I knew a vast amount, as anybody would after they've been doing any subject for about 14 years. And those things that I didn't know, I knew how to ask the questions. So I would sit down with Mick in his kitchen in Churchill in Somerset and say, what does this mean? Why this? Why do you do that? Why do you do it that way? And it was one of the most enjoyable writing processes that I've ever known. And now, a lot of students use the book, not just people who like watching the telly.
You're currently recording a new series called The Codex File. What's that about?
Well, the hardest thing about it is that we film it in the British Museum, but we film it all through the night. Now, there was a time when I was about 18 or 19 when I could just get away with one night without sleep. But now I've just had my 60th birthday. Actually, it's tough. It's very tough. But the reason is, it's a bit like Crystal Maze, except that all the clues are some of the very best artifacts and archaeological finds in the British Museum. So it's quite a fun way of bringing artifacts really to the forefront of people's imaginations. But of course you can't do that in the daytime because there's all the people going to the museum around, so we have to do it all through the night.
There's the odd dead body in there, isn't there?
There are very many dead bodies in there, and I can tell you that walking through the Egyptian room on your own looking for the loo at 3 o'clock in the morning is a fairly scary experience. But that series, I've only made 2 of them so far. Next Sunday I make another one, and I think there's going to be about 6 in the first run, and we'll put them out on Channel 4 shortly before Christmas. And if it all goes well, the British Museum have already agreed that they'd like to do another 6. I think the British Museum used to have the reputation of being a rather frowsty place, and they want to attract more people and younger people and people who wouldn't normally go to museums. And I think they see this programme as a way of attracting people.
Where do you call home, Tony?
The latest hotel. Where do I call home? I brought my kids up in Bristol. I still have a flat in Bristol. I spend most of my time working in London, and I've got a house in Spain that I retreat to and write in, and I've got a fantastic garden there. And when I'm there, I'm away from the phone, away from the camera, and I think I have some of my best times there.
Have you got time for hobbies?
All the things that I do are my hobbies, really. If essentially I'm an actor and writer. What would my hobby be? Going on archaeological digs, I suppose. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's a great life, though, isn't it? You earn money with your hobbies.
If you're asked, would you do Blackadder again?
Oh, yes, of course I would. And I think Rowan would as well. The problem really about doing Blackadder is just pulling together all the people. Hugh Laurie is rapidly becoming the second most famous person in the whole of the United States. Richard's always writing his big movies. Ben's writing his books. Stephen Fry is doing everything. I'm conquering the world. It's hard to pull us all together.
If you wrote your CV, it jumps a bit from topic to topic. Where can you see yourself heading towards now?
I don't know. I just want to do stuff. I just want to do the next thing that interests me and it excites me. I think that's always been what's driven me. I don't want to be bored. I want to find out about things that I don't know about, and I want to try and convey some of my enthusiasm to other people.